What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start this video with Behrouz Tabani and his latest physique update. So him and Vlad, they received a very warm welcome in India and they were training quads together. So the fact that Behrouz Tabani is 7 weeks out of this year's Mr. Olympia and Vlad is still in the off season and Behrouz Tabani is still being able to do 4 plates on those front squats, that just shows us that he's a very strong individual. And I have to say, great choice hitting legs with Vlad, who is also a monster when it comes to that sheer muscle mass and also moving insane amount of weights in the gym. So Behrouz Tabani is continuously using the Mr. Olympia hashtag. That means there is still some hope and maybe also some positive news when it comes to his visa status. And just look at how clean his physique is looking right now. Beautiful lines, amazing flow, in my opinion a big threat to this year's Olympia top 6. And the man is continuously improving. Now his legs from the front, they aren't the best out there. So we will see how that affects his overall symmetry, especially when he stands next to a guy like Martin or Andrew Jacked, especially from the front, who both have amazing quad sweeps, especially from the front. But on the flip side, Behrouz Tabani is very impressive in both the side shots and also in both the back shots. The most muscular shot on him is also pretty damn impressive, and so is that abs and thigh. Now it has always been said that you are only as good as the guy you're standing next to, and we all know Behrouz Tabani has never been compared to any of these guys who at the moment are in that top 6. Now he has beaten William Bonac and Nathan Liesha a couple of times, but this isn't a prime William Bonac. So if he gets to this year's Olympia stage, that is going to be a very big tester for him. Before you scroll or blink too hard, have you subscribed yet? Please don't make me bring out the emotional blackmail. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon. It's free, it's painless, and that makes me look way cooler than I actually am. Next up, we have an update from Regan. And before we talk about his physique update, let me just say, his triceps are looking out of this world. Look at those amazing overall insertions and also very full looking muscle bellies. Now people always point out, his biceps are a weakness on him, including myself. And that is true, as he lacks those peaky biceps. But these are definitely one of the best triceps in the entire open class right now. Now at this point, it's a very simple fact that we will never see him with those mountain-like bicep peaks. All he can do is grow the overall size on his arms, just like Derek Lunsford. As far as the shape is concerned, that is purely a genetic thing. So Regan is 100% logged in for this year's Mr. Olympia. I mean, take a look at that structure right there. Without a doubt, one of the best out there. So he knows the competition this year, that is far superior than 2023, which was the last time he competed at Mr. Olympia stage and he got top 9. Now if he misses his peak in 7 weeks time, like he did for Toronto Pro, it's guaranteed that he won't even be 9th in the world this year. Because if you start naming the top 8, a guy like William Bonac, he can be 8th or maybe 9th this year. That is how deep the lineup is gonna be this time. And Regan knows he's gonna have to show up improved, and that too drastically improved, especially in the lower half. Now he has got an amazing back, top to bottom, great density, amazing hamstrings and the glutes. And that is probably the biggest advantage Regan has over all the competition. So the biggest question when it comes to Regan is that, will he be big enough? The same question as every year. Will he finally have enough mass on his physique, which is good enough for his structure, to be able to stand out against all these top guys like Samson Dauda, Andrew Jacked, possibly Michael Krizo too. So with all that structural superiority that Regan has, if he can bring that hard, dry and grenade-like conditioning, he can be very dangerous. But truthfully, we have never seen that from him up until now. Even at Cali Pro, the show that he won, he wasn't at his 100%. Next up, we have an update from good Vito. So now 7 weeks out from his Olympia debut. So he's among one of those multiple guys who are being coached by Kriso for this year's Mr. Olympia. And Asito, we all know, speaks very highly of him. So despite having Derek Lunsford on his team, Kriso himself said that there are some poses like the front double biceps and the abs and thigh, in which good Vito could have beaten everyone at the Pittsburgh Pro this year, including Derek and the Mutant, and possibly Martin Fitzwater too. And the guys we are talking about here, they are some of the biggest talents in the men's open at the moment, and all these guys are gonna be in the race for this year's Olympia title. So, talking about good Vito in that same sentence, that is a huge compliment for him. So, it's all gonna come down to Vito's side shots. We know he's gonna get beat by many guys in both the side shots because he just doesn't have the thickness in the arms and the shoulders and in the chest too from the side. The detail on the side of his legs, that isn't also as good as some of these other top guys. But that being said, this is just based on his Arnold Brazil look. And he had a few months afterwards to make some very noticeable improvements before the Olympia this year. So most probably he's gonna be very competitive and he can be right on the edge of that first call out. And if we look at last year, the way Martin's physique, that just totally changed from the New York Pro to the Olympia. I mean, the guy became a totally different bodybuilder just because he was peaked to absolute perfection. And there was no major jump in his weight either. So good Vito coming in peeled and bringing his all-time best conditioning, that is going to make one hell of a difference in his overall look. Next up, we have an update from Ramon Dino. So I do not think he will reveal his current weight, because that is something that is going to start a whole another debate on how much muscle he's gonna have to lose to make the weight cutoff for this year's Mr. Olympia, and how will that affect his overall physique. So the kind of shape and conditioning that he's showcasing right now, the man can be ready to step on the stage in just a few days' time if he decides to get rid of the water. And hopefully this strategy of getting ready very early, that will allow him to continue to have all those refeeds so that he can hold on to as much muscle as he possibly can as he chips away little by little. So it is gonna be such a huge challenge for Ramon Dino and also his coach Kriso to maintain all that hardness and fullness, because we know with every passing year, he's fighting his body, restricting his growth by limiting the food intake so that he doesn't get too big, just like Oskar Lashinsky. Now, as bodybuilding fans, who doesn't want to see all the athletes at their 100%, at their all-time best? Now, if Ramon Dino wins just one classic physique Olympia title, that is gonna make him transition into the next chapter of his pro career without any regrets and more smoothly. And we all know that chapter is the men's open bodybuilding, and he has actually talked about that in the past. Now sometimes you wonder, how was Chris Bumstead able to make the weight cutoff so comfortably for all those years? He looked the biggest and the widest guy in the entire classic physique lineup, and the man never had any problem making the weight cutoff. So kind of hard to say how much improved Michael Krizo's back is gonna be at this upcoming Prague Pro, but you have got to appreciate all the effort he's putting into posing and presentation, which has always been one of the biggest criticism on Michael Krizo. So Michael is the only man in the men's open IFBB Pro who needs bigger glutes to make those back poses look more balanced. Plus, his arms and delts, they are very overpowering, which makes his middle and lower back look kinda weak and very narrow. But this is him today, weighing 293 pounds. Great conditioning for Krizo, considering he is about 10 weeks out and considering the size that he's carrying right now. So in case he isn't able to win Prague Pro, he should 100% do more of those post-Olympia shows so that he can get his Olympia qualification. Because this year we saw him picking the shows which were some of the most difficult shows of this entire year. And that is the only reason he isn't qualified for the Olympia this year. And he was also coming back after that shoulder injury. So this current version, that certainly is gonna beat his Pittsburgh Pro and the New York Pro look. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.